Malacca is a historical city that integrates both heritage and culture of over 500 years that form the world. A perfect fusion, Malacca lives and breathes history from its colonial past and assimilation of cultures. Malacca has since evolved into a top travel destination with over 6.8 million domestic and foreign tourists in 2013. As popular as its historical past, Malacca is also famous for its mouth-watering local delicacies that contributes to the state's flourishing tourism. Its colourful historical past and UNESCO recognition has spearheaded efforts by the government to develop and urbanize the city. But rapid urbanization and commercialization brings about inevitable changes in areas of social, cultural, environmental and community well-being. Built in 1650 as the official residence of the Dutch governor, the Stadhuis is a fine example of Dutch architecture mostly renowned for its striking red hue. Originally, the structure is painted in white, but in 1911 it was repainted in bright red by the British. The maroon red that we see today was the job of the local authorities years later that created a distinctive character of the buildings of the Dutch square. Legend has it that the locals were unhappy with the Dutch and vented out by constantly spitting the red discharge from chewing beetle or cirre onto the white walls of the building. In order to cover the red spits, the British simply painted it red. However, it remains a folk tale. Today it houses the History, Ethnography and Literature Museum, but is closed for conservation work since February 2013. It is scheduled to open February this year, but renovation is still taking place at the museum. Adjacent to the Stadhuis is the oldest functioning Protestant church, the Christ Church Malacca. The construction of the church was completed in 1753 and was originally in exposed bricks. The interior of the 100 years old hand-carved pews before the main altar, old light fixtures and plaques that honor Dutch soldiers and locals. In recent years, street vendors populated the Dutch square where the Stadhuis and its neighbouring Christchurch are located. Street vendors and bazaars serve as an attraction for tourists to purchase souvenirs and knickknacks, but the aesthetic value of the area might be compromised. There's a question of appropriateness of the function of street vendors in a heritage site. If the main focus of the Dutch square is architecture and historical buildings, are the street vendors promoting it or distracting instead? St. Paul's Church started off as a Catholic church and was accommodated by Father Francis Xavier. Located at the summit of St. Paul's Hill, the peak overlooks what is now the reclaimed land area of Mahkota Parade and Taman Kota Laksamana. A 7-month attack by the Dutch just about destroyed the entire fortress, leaving only the entrance facade and the structure of the church at the top of the hill. In the past, the fortress overlooked directly at the Straits of Malacca before reclamation took place. I love you in a song. At the foot of the hill, not far from St. Paul's Church, is the fortress of A Famosa. A Famosa, or the famous in Portuguese, is one of the oldest surviving remnants of European architecture in Asia. This iconic historical structure was built in 1511 under the command of Alfonso de Albuquerque. Throughout the years, A Famosa has gone through facelifts and nearly escaped demolition during the British rule. What remains today are ruins with the notable small gate known as Porta de Santiago. Due to its location, many musicians can make a living from busking at strategic tourist hotspots. At A Famosa, we happen to chance upon one such busker.
Because of the echoes and the spot is so good, you know.
It makes good acoustics.
Acoustic is good, and then this is the place for the tourism. I need to work here.
meet the world here.
Yes, I mean African, I mean Australian, I mean European, Chinese, Taiwanese, all here. I don't have to go anywhere.
Can I get your name, please?
Pete, you can see on my drawing over there.
Oh,
On my painting.
okay.
P-I-T-T.
Encounter any troubles or any problems singing here?
Troubles, no troubles, only sometimes very irritating, you know. People, locals, very irritating. They don't appreciate art. You know.
Oh.
Sometimes they just take photo, just take from that corner, then run away. They do not appreciate, you know. Sometimes just focus on my face, then move. I mean, they must appreciate people's art, right? Money comes number two, but appreciation first. I'm not selling things here, I'm just selling my talent.
Jonker Walk is located within the core zone of Malacca UNESCO World Heritage Site. One can find items like fancy trinkets to a delectable plate of chicken rice balls, a Malacca famous. Craft shops are popular along Jonker Street, such as the Orang Utan House, which sells merchandise made by a prominent local artist, Charles Chum. Parallel to Jonker Street, Jalan Tukang Emas is also known as the Street of Harmony, as it houses three coexisting places of worship: a Chinese temple, a mosque, and a Hindu temple. When the sun goes down, Jonker Walk comes to life every Friday and Saturday night, where the street transforms into a lively night market. In a typical night market fashion, street vendors would set up stalls and kiosks selling a wide variety of items, from souvenirs to a smorgasbord of local food. Heron Street, or officially known as Jalan Tun Tan Cheng Lok, is more laid back compared to the road parallel to it. Known as Malacca's Millionaires Row, Heron Street has more history and old world charm than popular Jonker hundreds, and was home to many prominent Peranakans back in the day. These include illustrious leaders and traders, mostly prosperous Straits-born Chinese. Tun Tan Cheng Lok, a fifth-generation Peranakan, was one of the founding fathers of Malaya and the Malaysian Chinese Association. He was born at house number 111. The houses might seem narrow from the front but are long and spacious inside. This is due to the tax imposed by the Dutch at that time on the width of the building rather than the total area. Originally, the houses along Heron Street are 300 feet long but have since been split up to allow the pavement of alleyways. In recent years, Heron Street has undergone construction and modern development. Many of these have been restored or renovated to their former glory and turned into museums, boutique hotels, restaurants, and cafes. Project comprising of residential and commercial units together with leisure-cum-tourism amenities such as a wildlife theatre, hotels, and waterfront activities. One of the major developments is the Arab city Malacca that has over 4 acres of prime waterfront land on the picturesque man-made island, with plans of Arabic concept development such as an Egyptian museum and bazaar, among others. Arab city Malacca was expected to be completed at the end of 2010. The state government has invested about 1 billion ringgit to redevelop the once abandoned man-made island and is hoping the 40 to 50 million ringgit tourist will help boost the property market. Another attraction would be the Malacca Straits Mosque, which is located not far from the entrance of Pulau Malacca. When the sea water rises, the mosque will appear as if it's floating on the sea from afar. As we leave Pulau Malacca, we encountered a wandering tourist who shared his 2 cents of his travels in Malacca.
Pictures of Malacca
Oh, I see.
Where are you from?
from Germany. They're more beautiful.
The more beautiful, I see.
The settlement is home to the Kristang community in Ujung Pasir, Malacca, that has descended over the years through intermarriages between the Portuguese and locals since the colonial period. Mostly Catholics, they has their own dialect called the Papa Kristang, a Creole mixture of archaic Portuguese from the 16th century combined with Malay elements.
Algu Badri, Padra Kung Lama.
On normal days, especially at night, the area is the place to go for a seafood meal operated by the Kristang community. The open square in the heart of the settlement is a delightful place for locals to mingle, eat and drink, view the sunset over the Straits of Malacca, and enjoy the sea breeze. When we were at the settlement, we observed that major construction work was taking place in the surrounding area. To gain more insight, we got to meet and speak with one of the locals, Mr. Ashlam Danker, who is not too pleased about the changes.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Banker.
A very small community.
Kami here ni about 2,000 people.
What about the development here? Like, if reclaiming the land, what do you feel about it?
A little bit upset
Why?
because spoil the fishermen, the catching, spoiling them. Then they dig up the sand, the food of the fish, food also missing. And while they digging, that the food, the fish, the food there, not the food will have. They suck out and throw there. And how the fish gonna eat? They have to go somewhere else and find. Now you see, already nearly 6 months, no prawns. It's not every time for prawns. The big prawns are king prawns. Every small time, like now, the season now, like small time, always go and get prawns. Now cannot get already. It's a series 5-6 months and no prawns. They tell, but they will never meet us and talk. They only meet the hitman. The hitman and between them, what they do. We don't know anything. After when the thing come out, then we all, we jump lah. More of the fishermen jump.
This thing disturb nature already lah.
This one disturb. Because of that we try to disturb them also. Fishermen also trying to disturb them also lah. Try to stop the project. Because they don't pay us nicely. When they claim, that means you're spoiling our sea. That means spoiling our
Kacau your periuk nasi ni lah.
Periuk nasi also.
How do you stop? Yeah.
Take our boat and throw the net, the ship all cannot in, cannot come in. We block all the way.
So successful or not? Like,
Is this successful?
send the message
Now,
across.
maybe lah, they tell, they spoke to one of the committee, they say, they stop first, they're not going to pay anything.
Malacca, a city so rich, a city so beautiful in sight, has seen many changes since its glory days as a port. At one point, for 200 years, the port of Malacca was busier than London, but it went into a slumber after gaining independence. Today, the city has awakened, but the charm and beauty of dear Malacca has taken a different direction. Whatever the path may be, it is the shared obligation of the society to ensure it's on its destined path.